Hello! Welcome back to my channel. I'm your teacher, Tosin Muji, and today I'm going to give you 5 tips for your first day as a music teacher. Now, I remember my first day as a music teacher. I was excited, I was nervous, I was thinking, oh, what would my students be like? What would the school be like? I was going over my lesson plans over and over just to make sure that I got it just right. So I have a good idea of how you're probably feeling right now. The first day of music class sets the tone for the rest of the year. It sets expectations for you, for the staff, for the kids. So let's get right into those tips. Alright, so the first thing that you need to do is introduce yourself. The kids want to know who you are. Who is going to be teaching me music for the rest of this year? They may never remember your lesson, but they will remember you. So it's important that you leave a great first impression. Now, this may sound obvious, but tell them your name. Trust me, you get nervous and you forget. I did it once or twice, so I'm speaking from experience. Put it on the board, put it on your door, on your desk. Make sure that your name is visible and you constantly say it on that first day of class. Tell them your likes, your dislikes. Tell them a funny story. Share with them something that you did over the summer. Just begin to really build that rapport so that trust can grow starting from that first day of class. Alright, so now that the kids know your name, the next thing that you need to do is learn their names. Now I know as a music teacher, we don't just have 25 kids. We teach the whole school. We teach multiple grade levels. I remember there was one district that I was working in. I had almost 500 kids. And yes, I did learn every single one of their names. Now, it takes time, it takes practice, but you need to start from day one. The way I see it is that if I'm expecting you to know my name, the least I can do is learn your name. I can't tell you how many times I've heard scholars say, I don't even know if that teacher cares about me because she doesn't even know my name or he doesn't even know my name. And you don't want to hear that from parents. Remember, parents aren't thinking, oh, she's a music teacher, so she's probably teaching the whole school. She has 500 kids. She may not remember my child. They're not thinking that. They're looking at you like, I expect you to know who my child is. And you do not want to mess up at parent-teacher conferences. It is not a good look. I've seen specials teachers before call a student another name and just the parents go crazy, and it's just not a good look. Learn their names starting from day one. The third thing you want to do is set expectations. Give them the rules. Tell them the rules. Now, I know a lot of music teachers tend to kind of skip over this. We figure, hey, they're already getting the rules in their other classes. I just want to start making music. I personally think that's a mistake because you're opening up the door for a class with no management. I do agree, however, that you should not spend your whole class period teaching them about rules. Just touch on them. Make sure that they are aware that rules do exist in this music class. And you have a great tool that the other teachers do not have. You have the power of music. Sing them the rules. You don't need to recite a list of do's and don'ts. Whenever I taught my kids my rules for my classroom, I would always sing it to them. It makes it more memorable for the scholars, and it's just fun, and it gets them singing, it gets them moving, it gets them excited for expectations. Who would have thought? So, please do not skip over the rules. That is the tendency. We will get to music. I promise you, we will get to making music. But do not skip over the rules. Children have a tendency to see music class as playtime. So these rules and these expectations allow them to see that music class is just as important as math, as science, as reading, as all of these other classes. But if you don't give them any expectations, then I guarantee you, your class will turn into playtime. The next thing that I want you to do is gauge their love for music and their understanding of the concepts. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do an assessment on day one. Please don't do an assessment on day one. But through conversation, you could get a feel for what they know, what they don't know, what they like and what they don't like. Let's be honest, not every student is going to like music. In the same way that not every student likes math or reading or English or spelling or science. That's just how they are made. So you need to be able to take the information that they give you and create your lesson plans and create a positive music experience based off of that. I once had a situation where I was teaching two third grade classes in the same school. One class, roughly about 80 to 90% of those kids loved music. They loved singing. They loved playing instruments. The other class was the total opposite. They did not like to sing. It took me forever to get them to learn how to sing. But me knowing that from the beginning of the school year helped me create lesson plans that still taught the same concepts, but they were geared towards different types of learners. Now, if you have planned a whole lesson of singing for your first week of music class, but you have a class that hates singing, you may want to consider changing those lessons. If not, you are creating a bad music experience for your kids. Give them something that they like to do first and then transition into all of the music that your heart desires. But the key is on that first day, get to know your students. Get to know what it is they know, what it is they like, their dislikes, and how you can really create a beautiful music experience for them. Finally, after you have done all the getting to know your scholars and your scholars getting to know you and setting expectations, it's now time to get to the music. Get your kids singing, get them dancing, get them moving. That's why they're coming to your class. Now, I do not do instruments on day one of music class. I just believe that it is an added level of classroom management that I would rather ease into. But it is a personal preference. So if you feel that you can get new scholars and transition them into instruments on day one, more power to you. I personally believe that you should just stick to singing and movement for day one. Also, another thing to note is I do not force my kids to sing or move on day one. I do still, however, want them to participate. So I would say something like, I'm sorry that you don't want to sing with us today, but I would still appreciate if you can clap along and participate in the class. 9 times out of 10, before the end of class, the kids are singing anyway and they don't even realize. I don't know if it's peer pressure, if they just start to enjoy the music, if they get less nervous, but they tend to get into the class as the time progresses. Some of them don't. Some of them may leave class on the first day and all they've done is just clap. And that's fine too. They're making music in their own way, but do not force them to sing, do not force them to move on day one. You're trying to create a positive experience, a positive environment. So there you have it, 5 tips to help you get started on your first day of music class. If you have any questions, comment down below and I will get back to you. If you loved the video, if you found it helpful, please subscribe so that you can stay up to date on all of my upcoming videos for you. Until next time, happy teaching.